All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another deep dive. Today we're going deep into Othello, but not the basic plot points that we all kind of remember from
Yeah,
high school.
right.
Right? We're going way deeper than that.
Yeah.
We're going to be looking at the way Shakespeare uses religious language
hmm
in Othello to give it all these layers of meaning and foreshadowing. So to guide us on this journey, we have excerpts from this fascinating academic analysis called Religious Language in Othello.
Ooh, that sounds right up my alley.
Yeah, so get ready for some serious aha moments.
I'm ready.
When you think about it, like on the surface, a lot of the time, religious language in plays,
Mm-hmm.
it might just seem like window dressing,
Yeah,
right?
just kind of part of the setting.
But Shakespeare, he was doing way more than that.
Right. He uses it so deliberately.
So let's unpack that a bit.
Okay.
Early on in the play, Othello, he describes his life as a pilgrimage. I mean, he even says this line, "All my pilgrimage dilate." Now, to a modern ear like us,
Yeah,
that might not
okay.
sound like a big deal.
Yeah, pilgrimage. So what else?
But was there something else going on in Shakespeare's time that made this word choice like super powerful?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Elizabethan England, they were obsessed with exploration and conquest, right? You think about Sir Francis Drake sailing around the world. And so when Othello calls his life a pilgrimage, it immediately taps into that idea of like the hero's journey,
Oh, I see, yeah.
right? Making him seem both exotic and familiar to the audience at the same time.
Like adventurous and exciting.
Exactly.
So it's almost like he's playing into the audience's expectations of what a hero should be.
Totally. And it's not just like a humble brag. It's like this deep-seated need to be seen as this exceptional figure.
Yeah. Almost like he needs validation.
Exactly. And that need for validation, that's going to come back to bite him.
Ooh, foreshadowing.
Yeah, it's a major weakness that Iago is going to exploit later in the play.
Iago. Oh, he's the worst.
He is such a great villain, though.
Yeah, he's a fantastic villain, but man, I would not want to meet him in real life.
No.
So speaking of validation, let's talk about Desdemona. I mean, when she first hears Othello's stories, she's like totally captivated, right?
Oh, yeah, she's smitten.
She even says this line, she gave me for my pains a world of sighs. It's almost like she's worshiping him, right?
It's definitely more than just your average, romantic swoon.
Yeah.
Desdemona puts Othello on this pedestal. She idealizes him to this point where it becomes really dangerous.
And don't forget, this is Elizabethan England we're talking about.
Right.
Women, they were expected to be subservient to their husbands.
Totally, yeah.
So Desdemona's reverence for Othello, it also kind of plays into like the social norms of the time.
Absolutely. It's this fascinating mix of genuine love and societal pressure.
So you're saying that her love, while real, is also being shaped by like the pressures of the time.
Exactly. And that makes her incredibly vulnerable to manipulation.
Right, because she's blinded by this idealized version of Othello.
Yeah, she can't see his flaws.
Until it's too late.
Until it's way too late.
Which is where our villain Iago comes in.
Oh, wow.
This guy, I mean, talk about a master manipulator. He sees right through Othello. In one scene, he says this line, "The Moor is of a free and open nature, that thinks men honest, but seem to be so."
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right. It's like he's saying, oh, look at this naive guy. Right for the taking.
Totally. Iago, he's a cynic. He understands the power of religious language, but he doesn't believe in it himself.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he sees it as this tool to control other people.
Wow.
And Othello, with his genuine faith and his need to be seen as this righteous man, he's the perfect target.
So we had this like stark contrast. Othello using religious language earnestly, and Iago twisting it for his own, like, wicked purposes.
It's like Shakespeare is holding up a mirror to how easily even the most sacred words can be corrupted.
And that corruption, it leads to the play's tragic climax.
Right, to that horrible ending.
In the final act, after Othello has murdered Desdemona, he says one of the most heartbreaking lines in the whole play. He compares her to a plucked rose. He says, "When I've plucked the rose, I cannot give it vital growth again."
Oh,
It's such a powerful image,
it really is.
What do you think Shakespeare is trying to convey with this metaphor?
It's about more than just the finality of death, right? The rose, it represents Desdemona's beauty, her innocence, her vibrancy, and once it's plucked, it can never be restored.
So it's not just a physical death.
No, it's the death of their love, their trust, Othello's own innocence.
It's like this irreversible loss.
Exactly, a loss that can never be undone.
And tragically, it was all brought about by Iago's manipulation of religious language.
Right, playing on Othello's insecurities, twisting his sense of morality.
It makes you wonder, How often do we hear language used this way even today?
Oh, all the time.
Right? To persuade, to
Yes.
control.
Manipulate people.
It's really something to think about, isn't
It
it?
is. Yeah, think about who are you trusting and what words are they using to gain that trust?
So that's been our deep dive into Othello. We've learned how Shakespeare uses religious language not just as decoration, but as this powerful tool to explore themes of identity, morality, and manipulation.
Right, to really get under the surface of these characters.
We encourage you to revisit the play with these new insights in mind. Until next time.
See you then.